All right, good afternoon. My name is Kevin Brown. I'm the Director of Grad Studies. I'd like to welcome you to our inaugural Grad Slam Graduate Research Presentation Competition. We would especially like to welcome all our student finalists who are going to be presenting here today, as well as our esteemed judges and our audience members, both here in the room and on Zoom, where we actually are having broadcasting this via a webinar. So what is Grad Slam? Grad Slam is a campus-wide competition for the best 3-minute research talk aimed at a non-specialist audience. It's not just sort of your common colleagues who actually understand what you're doing already. It's a fantastic opportunity for our graduate students to present their research in a professional, competitive setting. Now, there's a lot of things that I love about Grad Slam. Chief among them is that it serves as a fun and creative platform to highlight the extraordinary work of our grad students in all of our grad programs across the university. So as we know, the CSU does a great job of providing access to graduate education and supporting our graduate students in all of the research and scholarly activities that they actually are involved in. I suspect that everyone in attendance today knows that and appreciates the value of a graduate education, both in terms of the typically extra money that you make, but also in addition, the specialized knowledge that you'll gain in the field in which you're working, and also lots of other tangible benefits of having a graduate degree. So here at Cal State East Bay, we're very proud of our graduate students and the excellent work that they do. First, I'd like here to acknowledge the sponsors of our event. If you wouldn't mind standing, Dr. Chandra Khan. Chandra is the Associate Vice President of the Cal State East Bay Office of Research and Sponsored Programs. And in addition to participating as a judge today, Dr. Khan has provided generous funding for our cash prizes, as well as all the snacks and drinks that we have back here. So thank you very much, Chandra. I'd also like to acknowledge Maureen Sharberg, the Dean of Academic Programs and Services, in which the Office of Graduate Studies is home. Dean Sharberg helps to drive graduate program initiatives and has provided staff support for today. And of course, many thanks go to President Kathy Sandeen, who is a local supporter of student research on campus. So thank you, Dean Sharberg and President Sandeen as well. Next, I'd like to introduce our judges for this event. First, if you don't mind standing when I call your name. First, we have Dr. Chris Chamberlain, who is he is the Interim Associate Dean for the College of Education and Allied Studies, the Interim Chair of the Department of Teacher Education, and a Professor in the Department of Hospitality, Tourism, and Tourism and Recreation. Sorry about that. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to judge this event. Next, we have Dr. Linda Dodd, who's she is the Chair of the Sociology Department, and also a member of the Committee on Research, a university committee that oversees research on the campus. And of course, we all know that she was also Associate Provost for many years, and before that, Dean of the University Library. So thank you, and welcome, Linda. Well, next up would be Dr. Khan. We had met her already, but let's give her one more. Thank you for serving as a judge, Dr. Khan. Our fourth judge is Dr. Jennifer Sherwood. She is a professor in the Department of she is, in fact, the chair of the Committee on Research, right? And will be taking over as director of the Center for Student Research next year. So thank you very much, Jennifer, for attending. And our fifth and final judge is Mr. James Strayer. Mr. Strayer is the Associated Students Senate representative for the College of Education and Allied Studies, and a student in the Bachelor's in Kinesiology program. All right, so now on to our student presenters. They're all sitting here in the first two rows on my left-hand side. Please give these 10 finalists a round of applause. Each competitor here today was chosen from a set of semi-finalists based on versions of the presentations that you'll see today. It was no easy feat to get to this to the stage of the competition, and we congratulate you all for your hard work and dedication to your field. So we look forward to your presentations today. It'll be great. All right, next up, I'd like just to review the Grad Slam rules for everyone, because they're actually quite strict. The first is that only graduate students enrolled in a current CSU graduate program are eligible. They have to be doing independent research as opposed to a group project. Presentations can be no more than 3 minutes long, so it's kind of an elevator pitch sort of thing. We actually are going to give our students up to 5-second grace period should they happen to go over, but after that, a penalty will be applied to their score. So I've already seen all their presentations. I know that they can get it done in 3 minutes. There shouldn't be a problem. And then maybe one of the biggest restrictions is they're only allowed to have one single static PowerPoint slide with no kind of transitions and fun video and audio to get their point across. Right? So that's fantastic. As far as the judging criteria, again, they're going to be judged on their ability to successfully engage a non-specialist audience while communicating key details about their research. So the judging criteria for today are given here, where our judges have been given more detailed rubrics than just these. After each 3-minute presentation, we're going to give our judges a couple minutes to finalize their scores before we move on to the next student. During that time, I'm going to just ask a couple questions of the students to kind of keep us busy, but please note that those questions and answers are not part of the scoring presentation itself. Right? All right, just so you can actually see how this works, I'd like to show you an example student slide. So when each student comes up, we'll have put their name up there and the name of their paper and the program and their advisor. If you go to the next one, sorry, here. And then we'll actually have the slide that they provided to us. And there's going to be a little timer here down at the bottom. If you click it out one more time, it will count down. 3, 2, 1, begin. At which point the student will ask to begin. Then they have 3 minutes counting down during the time to get their point across. And there'll be just a tiny little bell that will go off should they actually get to the 3-minute time limit. So we've shared this all with the students before, so realize that they're not just seeing this for the first time. They should be pretty well prepared, right? And after all 10 presenters have gone, we'll tally up all the scores, and we're actually going to have prizes for first, second, and third place. Okay, so if you could flip back to the final slide. Okay, so I'm sure that our students are ready, and you are anxious to see them, so let's go ahead and begin. If Justin Matthews would please come up. Right. So I'm just going to sort of read what's up here. So Justin's actually pursuing a master's in kinesiology right now under his advisor, Dr. Kate Rowley. The name of his talk is Effects of an 8-Week Training Intervention in Carbon-Plated Running Shoes, How Physiological Adaptations Affect Race Day Performance Benefits. Right. So we're going to go to your slide, and then if you want to begin when the timer gets to begin. Right. Actually, you want what? Make sure you're
test. Yeah. In 2017, Nike introduced the Nike Vaporfly 4%. This was the world's first super shoe, and as the name suggests, it improves your running economy by about 4%. We measure running economy by looking at the amount of oxygen that you use to run at a given speed. Super shoes improve your running economy by using a carbon fiber plate that's embedded within a very soft and high energy return midsole foam, which is the foam underneath your foot. We can see it on the top left of the slide, that is half of a super shoe, and you can see that carbon fiber plate within that foam. The combination of these two technologies allows for about 2.5 to 4% improvements in running economy when compared to a traditional racing flat. This shoe in yellow is a traditional racing flat. Notice it has much less foam underneath the foot. There's less energy return in that foam, and there's no carbon fiber plate in that shoe. In elite athletes, fractions of a second decide Olympic medals and world records, and they seek to maximize performance in every way possible, including what shoes they race in and train in. What athletes originally started using super shoes and they became widely popular for was these 2.5 to 4% acute race day performance benefits. So of course, athletes are going to race in the shoe that makes them faster. But what athletes quickly noticed was that after running in these shoes, your calves feel much less sore, your legs feel less beat up, and it's easier to complete your workouts. So now these have become staple workout day shoes, and what we wanted to test is, does training in these shoes long-term increase or decrease your race day performance, and are there any physiological and biomechanical adaptations that explain these performance changes? So we designed an 8-week training intervention with pre and post testing done in both shoes. To collect biomechanical data, we use 3D motion capture, a force plate instrumented treadmill, and electromyography, which is measuring muscle activation. And to look at their running economy, we use the metabolic cart, which measures the amount of oxygen that they use while they run. What we found was that the super shoe training group, so one of our groups trained super shoes, the other one trained in flats. The super shoe training group had a lesser overall improvement in the running economy. So this flat group had a greater overall improvement, meaning the flat group became more efficient or faster runners at the end of these 8 weeks. What also is very interesting is that the Super Shoe training group increased their Super Shoe performance benefit, which is at 2.5 to 4%, and the flat group decreased their Super Shoe performance benefit. So this suggests a specificity of training principle when it comes to shoes, where you become more efficient in the shoe that you train in. Overall, independent of the Super Shoe performance benefit, the flat training group was overall more efficient or a faster runner at the end of this training cycle. We hope that this information will allow athletes to make informed decisions about what shoes to race in and train in, especially when the goal is to maximize performance. Thank you.
Okay. Excellent job. So I'm just going to ask Justin a couple questions while we wait for the judges to do their work. Mina, can you maybe tell us, Justin, how did you decide to choose the kinesiology program here at Cal Cities Bay?
Sure. So I was already an undergrad in kin here, and then I started working with Dr. Rowley, my advisor, trying to plan on what project I'd like to do. I had like 3 different ideas, and we settled on this one. And then when we got our grant from Nike, I was like, yep, we're doing this. Like, I'm staying, I'm doing my master's program. So yeah, that was kind of like a multi-month process in the last semester of my undergrad.
Are you a runner yourself?
Yes, I run cross country and track here. So yeah, I run in these shoes. I know what it feels like. I know how bouncy and like really fast those super shoes feel. And I know how much it sucks to run in those flats now because your calves just feel so bad.
Are you a Bay Area native or?
No, I'm from Redding, California. So like 3-ish hours north. Yeah.
I have some family up there, so I've been there many times. Mount Shasta. And
yep, Mount Shasta.
Beautiful outdoor kind of things you can do.
Yeah.
Have you been up to, say, the Mount, up to Mount Lassen, to that Bumpus?
Yep, Bumpus Hill. Yeah, we've done last summer. I went out and hiked Mount Lassen and kind of drove around that area. So yeah.
Okay, are our judges complete? Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Right.
If you,
thank you.
So our next finalist is Tapasia Sudan Lu. So Tapasia's title of her talk is Organic Chemistry Using Augmented Chemistry. She's actually getting a master's in computer science at my department under her So you want to test out your microphone, make sure it works?
Yeah, it's actually organic chemistry using augmented reality. Yeah.
I thought I'd tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're ready, we're going to go.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start off by asking everybody a question. So raise your hands if you have studied chemistry at some point of time. I'm pretty sure all of us must have studied chemistry at some point of time or the other in life. So for many students across the world, chemistry is introduced for the first time during high school. Abstract concepts such as atoms, molecules, and how they form compounds are very complicated for students to understand. The students, moreover, are expected to imagine how the world works between the micro world and the macro world. For example, atoms, you cannot see it with your naked eye. And a solar system, you cannot really see it with your naked eye, but the students are expected to imagine. But the students of this age, this young age, do not have their imaginative abilities completely formed. So because of that, they miss out on learning the basic core fundamentals. So for all the Marvel fans out here, I'm sure you all have seen Iron Man doing all these cool stuff in his lab where he's working with things in the air, grabbing objects and putting them together. That technology is called augmented reality. Augmented reality is an extension of virtual reality. So in this augmented reality technology, the users can interact with 3D molecules, 3D objects that are placed in real world scenario around them. Like if you see the first picture on the top, so that's the Microsoft HoloLens, the base of my application. And you can interact with the real world objects as you see there. So I have taken this augmented interactive way of learning and combined with organic chemistry through which students can learn chemistry in a more interactive way. So here we have based my study on just the carbon and hydrogen atoms. So now the students can interact with the atoms to create new molecules or break them apart to create newer molecules. In this picture, where they have taken 1C and 4H, combined it to form methane. A student was once asked, what is the formula for water, which is H2O? He said, HIJKLMNO. So this is the reason why we need more interactive learning in the field of chemistry. So AR chemistry makes it more interactive between the students and the teachers as well, and it engages the curiosity of the young minds to do better and get the core concepts engraved in their brains. So furthermore, I would like to implement this kind of a study, which is a more interactive study with the 3D models, in subjects such as geography, biology, physics, engineering, etc. Thank you.
Can I ask you how you heard about the computer science program?
So I'm from India originally.
Right.
So I did want to get, so the 4 years of my undergrad, 2 years of it was gone during COVID. So I felt like I did not learn enough, and I wanted to move abroad to get a master's degree on it, and I wanted to come to California in the Bay Area. So I saw CSU East Bay as a good potential, being in the location that it is in the land of opportunities. So that is how I found out about the computer science program at Cal State East Bay.
I know actually our director of international admissions is actually over in India right now doing some recruiting. So we're looking for some more quality students. Were you finished already? No. Okay. So what sorts of things do you like to do when you're not working hard with Dr. Zhang?
I like to cook, and so I have expanded my horizon of the different type of cuisine. So now I try cooking Mexican food and Thai food and everything. So I like to cook, and I like to travel around, explore, hike, etc.
Do you have a specialty that you like to share with your family, especially a dish that you like to cook?
Oh yeah, so I come from Hyderabad, so which is where the biryani comes from. So I would say I make good biryani. Yeah.
Yes, we all love biryani. There's no doubt. Right. All right. What about, let's see, what's maybe been a highlight of your graduate career? What's been the best time that you've had here?
Yeah, the best time I've had is, I think 2 years of master's was perfectly paced for me. It wasn't too much. I wasn't overwhelmed with the amount of subjects and the amount of assignments I had, because I personally believe all the professors were very understanding that we also have to look for jobs at this point and also, grind lead code and stuff like that. So they were very understanding with the amount of work they gave us. So it was very good to manage studies, score well, do well in the exams, score well, submit the assignments on time, while also prepare for the outside world. Right. So I feel like I had a very balanced life during my master's.
All right, well, good job, definitely. All right, well, thank you, Tasha.
Thank you so much.
That right there. Thank you very much. Right. And our next presenter will be Ferdi Augusta. Welcome, Ferdi. Right. You want to just test that out and see if it's working?
Test.
Very good.
Test.
All right, so Ferdi's talk is called Engagement, Social Awareness, and Connectedness for Remote Learning. Ferdi's working on a master's in interaction design and interactive art with his advisor, Professor Ian Pollock. So if we move forward. So when we counts down to begin, please do begin.
Hi, so this project explores the challenges between learners and educators in synchronized learning, particularly in the lens of social interactions. COVID pandemic has forced many learners and educators utilize video conferencing for classes that usually hold mostly in person. Although digital platform provide many convenience and flexibility, it poses a lot of problem, particularly the quality of interactions. Because being in physical space, the quality of interaction is rich and complex with social cues, but shift to computer media digital communications, it's really challenging to retain the complex social cues. Additionally, this learning environment also poses other psychological problems, such as Zoom fatigue, distraction, and loss of motivation. So to solve this problem, I draw a literature review by Eric Gilbert is social translucence system. So social translucence is a degree in which social system allow individual to see other people action and behavior. So for example, that you can see these two people walking from two sides of the room, and if it's with the wood door, it might be an accident if somebody is in the rush. But if we change this with glass door, that it provides visibility and awareness. So I designed the solutions. VICO is interaction visualization tool by providing social visibility and awareness for learners and educators. And then there's 3 times is the before class is to set up goal and expectations so that learners can understand the expectation from educators. Educators can also understand the learner's topic of interest. And then during the class is when learners and educators can use social data and then can behave accordingly. And then the last one is after class is when they can receive like summary and then they can see their contributions and the engagement in their classes. So the design impact of this is to create really a more transparent and open communication that eventually can lead to collaboration in the classroom. And why is it so important? Because even though the COVID-19 has passed, but there's still a lot of institutions that provide online classes, and also for people that have disability, they couldn't come to school, or people even have difficulty with social interaction, also really benefit to them. Thank you.
Great job, great job. Can I ask you, what drew you to our Masters in Interaction Design and Interactive Art? I feel like it's a very unusual program.
Yeah.
That you don't see at a lot of other
So
campuses.
so because my previous job that I was involved in a team that create this mobile app, and I helped them to do a lot of research. So that's why I started to realize, oh, this is an interesting pathway for me to continue.
Excellent.
Yeah, and because a lot of people use digital product that we use our phone every day. Yeah.
Great. And what was your undergraduate major? Did it kind of lead you into this?
I study business.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very different. I study business, and then I work in the business industry for a few years, but then I start realize I'm really passionate in designing things, particularly like invention, new things that people haven't invented before.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And what do you like to do when you're not working on interaction design?
So, I'm a huge fan of CrossFit, so I train almost every day, and that's how I kind of like to compete with people also. But also I like to watch movie. I think from movie that we can learn a lot of culture things, because I'm from Indonesia and coming to the US, it's like watching all the Hollywood movie, and it's really to understand other people's culture. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Are the judges done, Mina? Yes? Okay. All right, great. All right, thank you very much, Verity. Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take a seat. Right. Right. So our next contestant is Sparkle Phelps. If you'd please come up. Sparkle, very good. If you could test your microphone, make sure it works the way you want it to.
Yeah, I think.
right.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right, very good. Okay, so Sparkle's talk is entitled Classroom Management Strategies in the Inclusive Classroom, and she's working with Dr. Jude Wolf in the Master's in Special Education and also getting a concurrent education specialist credential. Right. Right, so if you would begin when we count down to the begin.
So I conducted a literature review on classroom management strategies in the inclusive classroom. Did you know that general education teachers face a variety of challenges when it comes to effectively managing their inclusive classrooms? This is especially the case when they are trying their best to maximize learning time and decrease behavioral challenges. So the literature review revealed that general education teachers need a deeper understanding of they need a deeper understanding of what inclusive education and culturally responsive teaching is and entails. They need a deeper understanding of what effective classroom management strategies are and how to properly use them. And they need a deeper understanding of what, I believe that it's the critical role that teacher self-efficacy, attitude, and engagement plays in maintaining their inclusive learning environment. So the literature review serves as a catalyst, or is the whole reason behind me doing my capstone project. And so my capstone project entails surveying teachers at the school in which I currently work to get a feel for their needs, skills, and knowledge around the topics being emphasized. And after I did this, I decided to review the survey results. The survey results revealed that general education teachers at my school do need a deeper understanding of the topics being emphasized. And also, and if available to them, they would like a web-based platform that will provide them with the resources that they need in order to effectively manage their inclusive classrooms. So I decided to do research, and I found the best possible resources available to teachers so that they could be able to effectively manage their inclusive classrooms. After I found these resources, I ended up putting them into a web-based platform that I created and made available to the teachers at my school. And then finally, I ended up providing the teachers with a feedback form. This feedback form was meant for me to improve the web-based platform and to ensure that it is and continues to be what general education teachers need to be successful in managing their inclusive classrooms. So cheers to more inclusive classrooms. Thank you. Can just
So I have to say, first off, I'm very impressed by anybody who doesn't get special ed. My own mother was a special ed teacher for many, many years, and so what drew you to that particular area of education? What drew you to that particular area of education? Right.
I'm currently a resource specialist at an elementary school, and I love what I do.
Great. And what elementary school is it, if you don't mind asking?
Horace Mann Elementary School.
In
Oakland.
Hayward? In Oakland?
In
Oh,
Oakland,
fantastic.
yeah.
Right, very good. So maybe what drew you to this particular program here at Cal State East Bay as opposed to ones at other CSUs?
I did my undergrad here.
Oh, very good. So you're
I wanted to
an
come
alum. We always like to like to see that. Do you also live in Oakland? Or?
I do.
So what kind of fun things do you like to do? That's a wonderful city, right?
So, yeah, it is. One of the things that I love to do is go to the marina and just chill, listen to music, look up at water, and eat. I love to eat.
Do you have a particularly favorite restaurant? I know there's many, many good ones in Oakland.
So there's a restaurant called Guadalajara in Oakland, so I love going there.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that we're all ready. So thank you very much, Sparta. Right. Oh, could you back it out one there? There. So our next contestant is Preeti Sundaramurthy. Right, so welcome. Right. Welcome, Preeti. So, would you mind testing your microphone? Make sure it works. Just say hello.
Can you hear me?
All right.
Hello?
Very, yes. Can everyone hear her?
Testing.
Yes. Perfect. Very good. All right. Okay. So Preeti's talk is entitled "Identifying and Characterizing Neurons of the Central Complex That Regulate Sleep in Drosophila melanogaster." Oh my Lord. I'm sorry. And she's working with Dr. Divya Sitaraman on a master's in biological sciences. So if you could begin when it counts down to begin, Preeti.
So all animals sleep, right? A sleep-like state has been defined in animals starting with jellyfish, which have really basic nervous systems, to animals like humans who have brains and super complex nervous systems. But for such a fundamental physiological need, we are still not able to understand why we sleep and how our brain switches from a sleep state to a wake-up state. And also, there's very little understood about how our sleep is regulated by our environmental and physiological needs. So what we do is we study sleep using the fruit fly, Drosophila melanogaster, because flies exhibit a lot of the same characteristics of sleep, like humans, surprise, and we also have really cool tools in flies which allows us to activate a very specific set of neurons in their brain and see how it affects their behavior without disturbing other parts of the brain. So I guess you're thinking, how do you even study sleep in such a tiny fly? Great question. We use those activity monitors that have infrared beams, and we have flies, an individual fly in each of those tubes, and we use the infrared beams to study the fly's sleep and study the fly's activity. So we collect data in 1-minute intervals over 3 to 5 days, and we analyze that data, and that gives us a lot of information about their activity and behavior. So we have screened over 70 different lines of flies. Each of them have a particular neuron in their brain activated, which is going to influence their behavior. And because of that, we've been able to generate what we call sleep plots. And you can see on top, there's something called a sleep-promoting neuron, which, when activated, causes flies to sleep more. And the bottom figure is a wake-promoting neuron, shown in orange, which, when activated, causes flies to be awake more. And the blue lines are the controls in our experiment. So I guess you're thinking, that's all very cool, but how is that going to help us understand sleep better? So another great tool that we have with flies is an electron microscope connectome, which allows us to map those neurons, see how they interact with other neurons in the brain, and see how sleep is regulated. And given that there's nearly a 70% conservation between fly genes and human genes, the chemicals that regulate sleep in flies, like acetylcholine and dopamine, also are present in human beings. We believe that we can understand a lot about sleep regulation and try to find new targets for treatment of sleep disorders in humans by studying flies. Thank you.
Very good. Great. Excellent job. Right. So if you mind, ask you a couple questions. I, again, love this kind of research. My own father-in-law was a biology professor, and he chose for his research a small little mouse that he would track across these lakes in northern Minnesota. How did you end up choosing this particular fly to study?
Well, I enrolled in the BCP program, and then I reached out to my advisor because she was working, because I've always been interested in neuroscience. And she has been working with fruit flies for a long time, and I was very interested in sleep and behavior, because I feel like it's something we take for granted but don't quite understand yet.
Right.
So this is like a start to understanding why we sleep and how we sleep.
Could you extend this kind of thing to higher forms of life, like a mouse or something? Could you study those same things there? Or?
That is, I suppose, the eventual goal, but we don't quite have all the genetic tools that we have in flies, quite in other organisms. And like, we're able to sleep deprive them and then like dissect their brains and study. I don't know how fun it would be to sleep deprive a human being and then ask them questions.
Right.
So, yeah.
So how did you choose our Master's in Biological Sciences
Well,
program?
I moved here about a year ago, and I was looking for opportunities because I always wanted to get into research. So, yeah. That's
Very
how I
good. Do you
found-
live here in Hayward or?
I
someplace
live
close by?
in Dublin.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's where I live. Do you go to Emerald Glen and look? They have like the big fountains there and all that
Yes.
stuff. Yes.
And well,
this-
I'm still new to the Bay Area, so we're just exploring, being tourists in the Bay Area without paying exorbitant hotel prices, basically.
Right. Well, I think actually we're done. So thank you so
All right,
much,
thank
Preeti.
you.
I appreciate your talk. It was excellent. Right. All right. So our next presenter is Edward Hill. If you'd please welcome him. Edward, will you test out your microphone? Make sure that you can use either one.
Testing.
Okay,
Testing.
perfect. All right, very good. Okay, so Edward's talk is called Safe Spaces for Black Faces, Reframing the Relationship Between African Americans in the Outdoors, California's National Parks, and Black Park Rangers during the late 19th century. And he's working with Dr. Linda Ivey on a master's in history. So if you'd start when your little timer's over here in the bottom right-hand corner, Edward, sorry. So if you begin when that counts down to begin.
What do Black Army regulars have to do with California national parks? Everything. In the summer of 2014, I took my first backpacking trip in Yosemite. I was in the park for 7 whole days, backpacking with my wife, well, now wife, and 7 other women. And during that time, one of the main questions I asked myself was, where are all the people who look like me? Where are we? That question led me down a rabbit hole, and to this gentleman here, Captain Charles Young, who was the third black graduate of West Point Military Academy and the first black superintendent of a national park. In 1866, after the Civil War, the Congress enacted the Army Reorganization Act. In 1869, 3 years later, they consolidated that, and in turn, they created 4 all-black regiment troops, the 24th and 25th Cavalry and the 9th and 10th Infantry. For the next 30 years, those troops helped the U.S. expand westwards in military campaigns against the Native Americans and a slew of other folks. By the late 19th century, these once enslaved men found themselves in California, and specifically in the Presidio in San Francisco. During their time there, in San Francisco, actually one of the most important aspects of this was the journey that they took. So in 1899 was the first time they actually found themselves in Yosemite National Park. And by horseback, it took them 12 days to get from San Francisco all the way down to Wawona, right, in Yosemite. They were there primarily to help keep the park safe, right, make sure that poachers were not in the park, stealing valuable resources, and also trying to keep sheep herders out. And on a few occasions, they also confiscated guns from folks who had them illegally in the parks. In 1902 and 1903, the soldiers made their way back to these parks. And in those 2 time frames, these soldiers created trails, some of the first summit trails of Mount Whitney, the first museums in California in a national park. And part of why this work is so important to me is because it creates a counter-narrative to the relationships that African Americans have with the outdoors. This was happening in a time where African Americans were escaping state-sanctioned violence against their bodies and communities, while on the other hand, these soldiers were in parks exploring the beautiful acreage and sceneries of those parks. And so organizations like Outdoor Afro, Camp Phoenix, and 510 Hikers are actively doing the work right now to change that narrative. Thank you.
Good job. Excellent timing there. Excellent timing. So how did you come to choose our Master's in History program?
Well, I did my undergrad here.
Excellent.
And on kind of towards the tail end of my undergrad, I had an opportunity to intern in the history department, where I helped create a course, a history course, and that course kind of gave me the idea that, like, hey, I can dive a little further into some of my career goals, which is why I'm in the master's program right now.
All right, very good. And how did you end up working with Dr. Ivy? She's our grad coordinator for that program.
So Professor Cleveland in the Ethnic Studies Department, Dr. Ivy and Dr. Ford, we all worked together to create History 385, which is a part of the Black Excellence Project. And in this work, right, they've been extremely supportive, and just me exploring kind of these images and what it means to be Black and in the outdoors, which is also, on this backpacking trip, I ended up proposing to my now wife, and so it's a very connected experience for me.
Very good, very good. All right, well, thank you very much. Good job. All right, next up is Ben Urich. If you'd welcome him to the podium, please. Right. Ben, if you try out your microphone, make sure everyone can hear you, as I'm doing a terrible job of.
Hello?
Very good, all right. So Ben's talk is entitled, Will Decay Heat Affect the Release of Uranium from Future Nuclear Waste Storage Sites? And he's working with his advisor, Dr. Ruth Tinnecker, in MS Chemistry, concentration in biochemistry. Right, so your timer is also in the bottom right-hand corner. I didn't want to cover up your Department of Energy thing there, so if you would begin when it hits begin.
Nuclear power generation is responsible for about 20% of the energy generation in the United States. A major problem with this, however, is that the waste generated, which is over 90% uranium, remains radioactive for thousands of years. One solution is using underground repositories to store this waste, using an engineered barrier system, or EBS. This EBS will be made from compacted bentonite clay, which is often used in cat litter for its absorbent properties. After a certain amount of time, groundwater will infiltrate the repositories, which will dissolve the uranium within the waste, which brings us to the schematic below. Here we can see the interaction of the dissolved uranium species with the EBS, and the movement of the uranium into the environment is controlled by several processes, which is based on the charge and size of each species. Here we can see the diffusion through the EBS. It happens between the clay particles or through the clay particles themselves, or there's also the adsorption of uranium onto the clay particle surface, which renders the uranium immobile. Another problem exists in that the still radioactive waste will produce decay heat, which will increase the temperature within the repository. So the goals of this study are to study how heat affects uranium solution speciation and sorption. To complete this goal, a software called FreeQC was used. This software uses inputs like temperature, the amount of uranium present, and the presence or absence of carbon dioxide to calculate, along with database files, to calculate the final conditions of a given system. So due to the increase in temperature, we will have to take into account the effect of heat on uranium solution and the effect of heat on several processes or parameters that are associated with the solution and surface. So for the solution alone, these are the shift in pH, the activity correction, and the uranium-6 complexation constants. And for the surface, these are the surface protonation reactions and the surface complexation reactions. So beginning with the more simple system, we have the concentration of the uranium species on the y-axis, which is dependent upon the pH on the x-axis. In this case, we wanted to study which of the solution phase processes had the largest effect on solution speciation, and we found that the uranium-6 complexation constants had the largest effect, as the difference between when it is turned on and turned off was the largest. After that, we added a model of the clay particle surface to the system to test the effects of temperature on uranium speciation, or absorption. Each line, the lower each line dips, the more uranium is absorbed onto the surface. And here we found that when we had only the solution effects turned on, that absorption was much lower. And if we only had the surface effects, it was much higher. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Very good. All right, so if I could ask you a couple questions again.
Yeah.
For other people as oblivious as me, what is the difference between chemistry and biochemistry?
Chemistry, that's just general chemistry. Biochemistry is just the chemistry of the body.
The body, right?
Yeah.
So is this biochemistry?
No.
No, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
this is
I think I
geochemistry.
maybe misunderstood. So how did you decide to choose our chemistry program here at Cal State East Bay?
My research professor, Dr. Tinneker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was a major motivation.
And you knew of her already before?
Yeah, she was a professor for my lab class, and then I approached her after class when she advertised a position in her group. Yeah.
So you were an undergrad here as well?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
fantastic. That's really good. So what do you like to do when you're not doing chemistry?
Watching movies.
Is there that's an excellent choice. Is there a particular movie that you have enjoyed recently?
John Wick 4.
Oh, very good. All right, very, very good. Okay, I think our judges are done. So thank you very much, Benny. Right. Great. Our next presenter is Tara Mann. Tara, man, sorry. And so if you would please check out your microphone and make sure that it works.
Check, check, check.
All right, very good.
Is there any weird feedback?
No.
Okay.
All right, so Tara's talk is entitled Self-Care, the Foundation for Longevity in Social Work, because you are working it. She's working with her advisor, Dr. Rose Wong, on a master's in social work. So if you could begin when it counts down to begin, Tara.
All professions have occupational hazards. And let's face it, a hazmat suit is not always a solution. The National Association of Social Workers is the largest membership organization of professional social workers in the world. The NASW is committed to the growth and development of its members, to promote professional standards, and to advocate for policies that support social issues. The NASW, to reinforce its core values, the NASW has a professional code of ethics and ethical standards that is updated to respond to social issues and meet the needs of the profession. In 2021, the NASW added language to its code of ethics to promote self-care as integral for professionalism and ethical social work practice. The highlight in self-care, the change in language highlighting self-care is critical. It underscores the value of healthy coping skills to minimize burnout and the impact of working with high needs populations. When I began the MSW program, I was enrolled in a mindfulness meditation teacher training program. This gave me the idea, what if I conduct research with Cal State East Bay MSW students using mindfulness and mindfulness meditation as the basis for self-care practices specifically designed for social work students. Mindfulness meditation comes from an ancient Buddhist practice and can be taught from a secular approach. Mindfulness is the ability to be present in the moment without judgment. Regular mindfulness practices can improve emotional regulation, self-compassion, self-awareness, and improve personal and professional boundaries. So what did I do? I created and led 5 weekly, 1-hour, mindfulness-based self-care sessions. They were conducted in real time using a hybrid format. To see if my approach was effective, students responded to weekly journal prompts and completed 2 surveys that measured self-compassion and self-care practices. The surveys were administered before, immediately after, and 1 month following the intervention. So what did my research show? Statistically significant improvement in self-care practices and self-compassion among the students as a result of my intervention. Thank you.
All right. Very good, very good. Thank you. So I'm actually, I'm very impressed. You're in the social work program. It's one of our most competitive programs, actually, graduate programs to be admitted to. So how did you actually end up choosing our program over social work programs at other schools?
It's public, and...
If you could talk into the mic.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's public, and I found it and was able to apply before the deadline, and anyway, I was very excited.
Okay, very good. Have you had a clinical placement yet? Or?
Oh, I do. Right now I'm working for Oakland Community Support Center,
Right.
and I work with adults who have chronic mental health issues. Predominantly, I work with patients who are schizophrenic, my clients. I love it. It's part of Alameda County's behavioral health care program, and it's amazing.
Okay.
I love my clients.
All right, very good.
Yeah,
All right, well, thank you
they're
very much.
wonderful.
Thank
Anyway,
you. Is that your...
is that it? You done with
That's
me?
it. Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you. Not done with you yet. There's more to come. Thank you, Tara. All right. Our next presenter is Saranya Anandan. Saranya, if you check out your mic and see if it works for you.
Hello, hello,
Can people hear that? Yes?
hello. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's right.
All right, very good. So Saranya's talk is entitled Reminder, a digital assistant designed to aid people with dementia or Alzheimer's disease. And she is working with her advisor, Dr. Asha Rao, and, on a master's in business analytics. So if you could start when the counter counts down to begin.
I have never shared a bond with anyone like the one I share with my grandmother, my Amuma, my Jayapati. She was the human computer of the house, and she remembered all our schedules. And during the rush hour, she knew where to find anything and everything, from comb to keys. And whenever we were searching for it, she used to find them in seconds and hand it over to us. But after her 75th birthday, one day when she went for her morning walk and couldn't find her way back home, we knew everything is not going to be the same ever after. And within a year, she started forgetting her basic daily routine, like bathing and eating. The women who helped the whole house function now suddenly needed someone to remind her of basic daily functions like eating and bathing. And within few months, we lost her. I'm not sure what killed her first, the Alzheimer's disease or the vulnerability it caused. Dependability is the worst form of vulnerability. And my idea, my proposed solution, my product, has only one purpose: to aid people to be independent, to aid people with Alzheimer to be independent for as long as possible, as long as the disease advances to its later stages. Alzheimer's, the Alzheimer's solution that I propose is called Reminder. It's as simple as in Smart Alarm. It's very practical and easy to use. To set it up, all you need is a reminder device and a mobile application that can be downloaded from Google App Store. And, you'll have to just place the reminder device wherever you find it most useful. For instance, if you want to be reminded of bathing, keep the device in the bathroom and just like an alarm clock, set in time and place you want to repeat. So the device will ring from the place where you kept it, and your mobile phone, the application in your mobile phone will mimic an incoming call. So until and unless the person who's holding the mobile phone is in proximity to the device, it will keep ringing. So that's how the reminder works. And it uses Wi-Fi. It uses the Wi-Fi that's available in our houses. And the outer layer of the device is made from sugarcane husk, which makes it totally eco-friendly. And the parts which are not sustainable are recyclable. So it's totally eco-friendly and costs only $5. So Reminder here is an aid to help people be independent and also to fight people with vulnerability, especially the people who forget, and make them independent for as long as possible. Thank you.
Excellent. Great job. You can stay up here just for a moment and ask some questions. So you can hold on to that just for right now. Yeah. You can just hold it. So our Master's in Business Analytics is one of our biggest and most popular programs, graduate programs here at Cal State Spain. It has over 200 people working on it. How did you end up choosing our Business Analytics program?
I always wanted to do my master's, especially in California State University East Bay, because it's the only university which had business analytics in the surrounding area. So other universities did not have it. But unfortunately, I couldn't do it. I applied for the program in 2018, but due to family circumstances, I had to get married, and I just came here as a housewife. And then I reapplied to the program and got in, so that's my story.
Well, congratulations on your your marriage. I think we're all finished, so thank you very much. You can sit back down. That's great. All right, and we are up for our final contestant, Daniel Gomez. If you'd please come up to the podium and give him a round of applause. All right, Daniel, if you'd check that out, see if it works for you.
Hey, hello.
All right, very good.
Can we hear it?
Okay, so Daniel's talk is entitled Unraveling the Structural Dynamics of APGV1 and S5B Using Computational Methods. And he's working with Dr. Maria Gallegos, the graduate coordinator in the Biological Sciences program. So Daniel, if you could start when your timer counts down to begin.
This research is on human Peggy virus. It's a persistent infection in humans. And we wanted to look at the viral target of HPGV1 NS5B, which is an RNA-dependent RNA polymerase, meaning it synthesizes viral RNA, and then that's how it replicates. So we wanted to fight and combat this virus because it is persistent, and there are physicians that have HIV patients where this could be a beneficial infection in that it takes down the viral load of HIV. But in most cases, it is pathogenic. It's known to go into the lymphatics as well as the nervous system. So we found it there. So in looking at just the viral replication complex, this is the RDRP that facilitates the viral replication. And we were interested in two different sites. One is a GTP binding site as well as a stem loop A binding site. So one, the GTP, we have ATG and C as our genome, and we use GTPases all the time in our cells. So it only takes one GTP of our machinery to bind to this target and then make decisions where it would replicate a virus protein like this. And then the stem loop A, it'll recruit more host factors, and that stem loop is, you can kind of see it looks like a stem like a plant and then loops around, makes a circle. So that stem loop A is a part of the RDRP as well. So what we did is use the state-of-the-art computational molecular science tools that are available, ESM Fold 2 and as well as AlphaFold 2. And then so over there we have a predicted aligned error, which is kind of the metrics of the computational methods. And that tells you at atomic resolution the differences in the distances and where the alignments change. So you can see the two different structures here. The one in the middle is the superposition of both of them. So that's both structures superimposed. And you can see that there's an alpha helix in yellow. And that yellow is a very low confidence score, meaning there's entropy and disorder there. And then in this, in the membrane of the ER of our cells, that's where the helix is in the membrane. It's a single pass protein, and that gets cleaved. So once that gets cleaved, it's free to go in the cell and then do the viral replication and synthesis. So our research is important because we want to develop antiviral targets, drug design. So it's not limited to just this virus. There's a lot of other viruses specifically in this family, like hepatitis C virus or other hepatitis viruses or flaviviruses that have this NS5 protein, and you can inhibit those as well. So those have been already developed, but this is the first structure that anybody's done computationally on this virus. And a lot of people don't want to work with viruses in the lab, and until we really stop isolating and culture them, they'll never be eradicated. But in this simulation, biomolecular simulation, you can still investigate the virus in ways to develop antiviral drugs for these diseases that are happening via viruses. So again, it's about the structural dynamics and getting to the viral physics, really, of this pathology. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, very good. So maybe I could ask you, how did you end up working with Dr. Gallegos?
So I did meet, she's a graduate coordinator, and another professor, Dr. Kerr, was researching this virus. So I met with him and her about the same time. And so I was at Thermo Fisher and finishing my bachelor's degree in biology there. And then I left the biotech company to finish my degree. I just had 2 classes left, and I wanted to dedicate the time. And then I was instantly hired after I finished the degree by Roche Diagnostics, an even larger biotech company. And then I left that to teach undergrads here for pre-nursing students, pre-kinesiology students, and to take the course load.
That's wonderful. So I think we're done. Thank you very much, Daniel. Right? Sit down again. Have a seat, please. Thank you so much. Right. So that was terrific. I hope that all of the audience enjoyed watching these presentations as much as I did. So it's going to take us just a few minutes to tally up the scores that the judges have given. So while we wait, maybe you could just look at these fun facts about Cal State East Bay that we have up here. Hopefully we won't take too long. Right.
Okay. Hi. Thought I'd just take a moment since we're paused while they're scoring to introduce myself and also talk a little bit about a research opportunity for those who are inspired today or want to continue research. So my name is Kelly Moran. I work in the International Programs Office here at Cal State East Bay. And one of the things that I do is serve as the Fulbright Program Advisor. Has anybody heard of Fulbright? Okay, great. So Fulbright is federal funding to spend a year of study or research or teaching overseas. And U.S. citizens are eligible to apply, and I can help you with that process. Anytime after you finish your bachelor's degree, up until the point you have completed your PhD. So this is an excellent opportunity to get full funding to continue your research or even create a new project and do so overseas. I have some handouts. I only have a few because I don't want to waste too many trees. But if anybody wants to come talk to me afterwards, feel free to grab me. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, thank you for your patience. So we're going to have a first, second, and third place winner, and each comes with a fabulous prize. The first place winner wins $1,000. Second place winner will receive $750, and the third place winner will receive $500. The 7 other participants who have earned a spot here in this final round will receive a certificate of acknowledgement and achievement that will be mailed to them as well. So I'd like to invite Dr. Chandra Khan, our AVP of Office of Research and Sponsored Programs, up here to award the prizes, and she's provided them. Round of applause. Thank you so much. Right. Would you like to read them, or would you like to? Okay. All right. So we're going to start with third place first. Actually, Mina, would you mind bringing the check up for us? All right. So our third place finisher is Justin Matthews from Master's of Kinesiology. He's giving him a round of applause. Right. Okay. Take a picture with them. Okay. All right, fantastic. Congratulations, Justin. Can you stay off here to the side for right now? They'll take a picture with all of you at the end. Right? Okay, our second place winner is Tapasya Solu. Right. Congratulations, Tapasya. All right, fantastic. Tapasya, could you stand here to the side for right now? Right. And our first place winner is Preeti Sundaramurthy. Right? So welcome, Preeti. Excellent. And maybe if we could have maybe all 3 winners come up here, right? We'd have all 3 of you up here at the same time. That'd be great. We could stretch out. We could stand over here. Oh, okay. Maybe we could hold your. I'll just be together. Right. Right. A picture for all of us. Right. Thank you so much. Right. So one. Right. Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate it.
Work with them and coach them for the competition.
Right. Yes. Right. Okay. So. Right. So. Move to the next one. All right. So in addition to the prizes that they've won, our first and second place winners are now invited to compete in the CSU-wide Grad Slam that is put together by SDSU. It's going to be on May 5th, and they'll be competing against the winners of all the other campuses, all the other CSU campuses. So there's more money and more prizes to be won there. So we'll give our best thoughts to our first and second place winners. So congratulations to you all. Right. All right, I'd like to acknowledge now the large number of people that came together to make this event a reality. First and foremost, of course, our student participants. They actually, their hard work and energy and enthusiasm make me proud to be associated with Cal State East Bay grad programs. So these are our semifinalists and our finalists that were listed up there. Secondly, I would like to acknowledge with gratitude our distinguished judges, without whom this event would not have been possible. You did such fast work, such efficient work, very, very impressive. Okay. And then thirdly is a huge thank you to our Grad Slam team who pulled everything together. This is a large group of people from academic programs and services and the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs and Facilities and everybody. Specifically, maybe I'd like to call out Monica Zango, the coordinator of Office of Grad Studies, who's just done so amazingly much work on this whole thing. So thank everyone for all of your help. And finally, to you, our audience, thank you for participating and attending. What a great showcase of graduate student research we got to see here today. We hope you enjoyed being part of this inaugural Grad Slam, and we hope that you'll be here next year for our second Grad Slam. So thank you, everyone. Right.